ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ अविद्योपाधिः सन् आत्मा जीवः इति उच्यते मायोपाधिः सन् आत्मा ईश्वरः इति उच्यते. So defining Jiva and Ishvara, the definition is based on upadhi. One consciousness appears in these two because of two upadhis. And so considering the upadhi, you will find some differences. So Mayopadhi san Atma Ishvara iti uchyate. The same Atma with Maya upadhi is called Ishvara. As I told you, this ultimately everything is unmanifest. And Brahman with that unmanifest will be the cause. Brahman with the unmanifest is the cause for everything. And for what? But for creation. What is that creation? Manifestation. So the responsibility of the Ishvara is to make the things manifest. That's all. Unmanifest, he makes it manifest. That's all. And what is unmanifest? Jiva also is unmanifest. And Jagat also is unmanifest. Ishvara is cause of both. So Ishvara, makes the Jiva also manifest. And Ishvara makes even the creation also unmanifest. So what? the Brahman with unmanifest, which is called Ishvara, is the cause of the entire thing. Cause of Jiva and cause of Jagat. Both have come from Ishvara. Ishvara is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam for both. And unmanifest Jiva means just with the Maya upadhi, And with the Maya upadhi, we let's say the unmanifest we divide into two. One is avidya upadhi, it is all triguna only. So with avidya upadhi, he is the same Brahman, he appears as a Jiva, which is unmanifest. And the same Brahman with the Vishuddha Sattva upadhi, we call, and that becomes the cause of the creation. So this Vishuddha Sattva means Sattva which cannot be overpowered by Rajoguna or Tamoguna. That's all it means that way. So basically what is unmanifest becomes manifest, and the cause for that is Ishvara. And that is how avidya is also, it should be included in this trigunatmika. It is unmanifest, and therefore avidya with, the consciousness with the avidya upadhi is the jiva. It is in the unmanifest and becomes manifest. When manifest means you will get this gross body and the subtle body. That's all it is. So avidya is a cause for that. But Swamiji, you are telling Ishvara is a cause. Yeah, but avidya is a cause for getting a particular kind of a subtle body and particular kind of a gross body. As such, the whole creation basically are based on this Maya. Well, and the Maya alone is in the form of these 5 elements. Well, then definitely all these organs and everything starts manifesting. And then even the gross body also, from the tamas aspect of the 5 elements, etc. And therefore the gross body has come from the Maya, of course Ishvara. Subtle body also has come from the Ishvara, but particular kind of a gross body. Your gross body is different, my gross body is different. And dog's gross body is different, and my gross body is different. All this is based on the individual karma, which is a part of unmanifest. Where it is based on individual vasanas, which is a part of unmanifest. Could you follow? So avidya includes this. Please understand this. Avidya includes this. It has avidya, kama and karma. So basic ignorance, of course, is there. Ignorance, the avarana of not knowing oneself is there, definitely. But then, and that is why this avidya is anadi, and therefore the jiva also anadi. Since jiva is anadi, and then definitely he makes, he has that notion of a karta and bhokta, etc. And then he creates, then he does, he fills a limitation, and then he does karma, and then karma phala, and like that. And then from when he experiences karma phala, new vasanas are also born. And then from new vasanas again the desire arises, a kama arises, and then again does karma, and then karma phala. This whole process. So avidya, kama, karma is basically considered as a upadhi of a jiva. That is, consciousness with this upadhi becomes jiva. So that is also anadi. Maya also is anadi. Everything anadi. Ishvara is a cause of both. Jiva and Jagat, both. Both are unmanifest. Universe also unmanifest, jiva also unmanifest. So don't think too much regarding avidya and Maya making the difference, etc. Don't do that way. Otherwise also there is another reason also. When in unmanifest condition there is no difference. That's how I told unmanifest is avyakritam, not differentiated. Even the whole that our bird comes out of the egg. But in egg you don't find any difference, just a liquid. You don't find any difference. You don't find the hands and legs and everything, even that wings and beak and eyes and nothing. You won't find anything. And therefore basically this is how it is. And therefore avidya also is and this Maya or the jiva and this whole universe, in unmanifest condition there is no difference at all. So we generally call it as a Maya. So Brahman with Maya is a cause. But then Swamiji, Maya is basically creates a universe, you said. Now where does this jiva stand? But avidya and Maya has no difference because in unmanifest condition. And therefore basically it should be included there itself. And avidya, but then tell one thing, why you are saying two? Because avidya is a malin sattva. So that way we make a difference. But definitely it is not, since it is in an undifferentiated state, unmanifest means undifferentiated, you won't find a difference. Anyway, so jiva in unmanifest also is in the Maya only, we should say, and the whole universe also is in a Maya, and all things manifest. And that is Brahman with Maya becomes the cause for the entire universe, including and so both jiva and Jagat. This is how we have to understand. We have not to think too much about it, but this much is sufficient for us. Because more than that will be a really literally complicated thing. Really, it is complicated. Now, first avidya is upadhi and or antakkaran, because jiva, you said, when the consciousness identified with the antakkaran, then it is reflected consciousness, and therefore it becomes a jiva and all that. Then you now say ignorance is upadhi. Then what do you say? So that's how I gave you a model yesterday itself. So consciousness along with the avidya manifest in a subtle body. Then that's all. It is over now. So avidya is a basic cause, I have already told you. And therefore, and while otherwise consciousness are getting reflected in the mind, why should it take as a reflection itself? Why should it take? Any reflection, like you see your face in a mirror, you never take that reflected face as yourself. You never take because you know what you are, and therefore consciousness reflected in the mind, and he thought that reflected consciousness is itself, that I am jiva. Why should it consider? And therefore avidya should be there before that. Could you follow what I am saying? Avidya should be there, and therefore take it that way. That is a safer thing. So consciousness along with the avidya will get manifest from the maya. That's all. Consciousness along with the avidya, only consciousness along with the avidya upadhi is in unmanifest condition. That is called jiva in unmanifest condition. Please understand that. Consciousness is consciousness, but when you say avidya upadhi along with the avidya upadhi, then it is jiva. It is an unmanifest condition. And in manifestation means what? Well, getting subtle body, manifest. That's how then subtle body gets reflected, manifestation. And then gross body also, he takes it himself as a gross body also. And therefore that is a manifestation of the jiva. But when will he get? Oh, when the universe will be created, then only, right? And therefore you should get a gross body, you should get a subtle body, etc. It's understand that. So Ishvara, you are so near to Ishvara. Anyway, that's what I am going to talk. So here it says Maya Upadhi, with the Maya Upadhi is this Atma, which is nothing but Brahman, is called Ishvara. And and now Maya is also Mithya, and this Maya Upadhi of Ishvara then definitely continues. When person knows himself that I am also Brahman, then this body continues. So Ishvara continues. Could you follow? Only Jiva Srushti gone. Once you know you are Brahman, Ishvara Srushti continues. Jiva Srushti gone. I am Jiva, I am individual, these are my relatives, this is my property, this is my this is that. Aham and Mama, that's your Srushti. That only goes. Then, okay, whatever he tells us, Aham and Mama, that goes. Then Jiva Srushti dies, yeah, Jiva Srushti dies. Then I was telling before knowledge that this is my house. Now there is Jiva Srushti. Okay, after getting knowledge, my house is destroyed. My house is destroyed, my car is destroyed. I tell my family, my wife, my children, they all get destroyed. Nothing gets destroyed. Then due to avidya, you have a notion that they belong to you. That's all. It's all Ishvara Srushti. Their Sharira belongs to Maya. Their subtle body belongs to Maya. Everything belongs to Ishvara, ultimately. Anyway, so whether, if I am enlightened or unenlightened, well, it is all Ishvara Srushti. Due to avidya, you get a notion that this is me. And related to this, whatever is there around, that is mine. And therefore, through the body, once you say the body is me, then the wife becomes your wife. Yeah. Otherwise, when you don't have identification with this particular physical body, where is the question of telling your wife? Mama also will not be remain. Mine will remain as long as I will be there. It's an extension of I only. If you consider I, physical body as I, well then definitely the wife etc. will be your wife, and the children will be your children, and the house will be your house, and the car will be your. Through the body a conscious being tells few things as mine. Without that it is not. And that is how when I give up the identification naturally in the sleeping, in the deep sleep state, then definitely I don't tell anybody as mine, including the bed where I am sleeping. I don't tell her. Before going to sleep, I definitely tell this is my bed and this is my pillow and this is this. And after you getting sleep, well, you don't say anything as yourself, because basically you have given up the identification. Your identification with the body has resolved. That's all. Let's put that way. Not given up. It basically has resolved, naturally resolved. So, but how can that identification with the body gets resolved? Because ahankara resolves. That's ahankara. This you consider as a I, subtle body as a I. And the ego is the one which is claimant. Without and does not, nothing belongs to it. Everything belongs to basically Ishvara. Everything belongs to Ishvara. That is what the order meditation of Pujya Swamiji tells. And therefore everything belongs to Ishvara. But this just I sense arises, that's all. I thought, that is I sense arises in the mind and starts claiming, becoming conscious. A claimant is a conscious entity, please understand. A inert thing does not claim anything. Inert thing does not claim anything. And therefore, conscious being claims everything. This is mine, etc. And therefore, anyway, so ego is a conscious entity born of the ignorance of the self and ignorance of Brahman, and that claims, that starts claims mind and claims senses and pranas and gross body, and that ego resolves. But how can Swamiji ego resolves? This is how it is, because the where the ego arises, that itself resolves. This antakarana itself resolves. Then definitely I thought is going to resolve. If antakarana itself resolves, then I thought is going to resolve. Then but why antakarana resolve? That is a state given to you. Deep sleep state is a state of a mind. The waking state is a state of a mind. All are states of a mind. Even the dream is a state of a mind. Everything is a state of a mind. Ultimately, definitely this is a state of a mind. But then why deep sleep is given? If it is not given, you will be mad. People don't get sleep even for 4 or 5 days. They become so unrest. They want to sleep now at any moment. They want to sleep even in the morning 9 o'clock. They tell also. If we ask them why do you want to sleep in the morning at 9 o'clock? Hey, I have not got sleep since 4 or 5 days. I would like to sleep. People try all kind of efforts to get a sleep. Could you follow what I am saying? So even if you are not getting a proper sleep, then you become so unrest. People can tell you with the transacting with you, people tell you that you have not got enough rest. Other people can sense. You can sense, that is one thing. Other people can also sense that you have not got enough sleep. That's what the thing is. And people won't get it for a long time. People don't get a sleep for a long time. Definitely, I'm sure they will be the cases of a psychotherapist. And therefore, it's beautiful thing that, this deep sleep is given. But Swamiji, deep sleep is a tamoguna. Is it a welcome thing? People ask many questions, So, yeah, it is welcome in one way. It's welcoming. Oh, then why do you say we should have a sattva guna for? Well, in the waking state, you are required not tamo guna, but at least sattva guna. At least in waking state. That is naturally you are, you get a deep sleep and therefore tamoguna is essential. We don't say no. Activity is also essential. Shariri yatra pichate na prasiddhyed akarmanaha, Bhagavan says. Shariri yatra pichate na prasiddhyed akarmanaha. The person who is not active, one who is not active, definitely his yatra, his journey of this life, Sharira Yatra, means this body would survive or not, Bhagavan says it is a doubtful. If person becomes totally inactive, his body will survive or not itself is a question. Bhagavan says like that. And therefore activity is essential, Rajoguna is essential. And everything is essential. But then basically one has to abide in Sattva Guna in order to be free from the cycle of birth and death forever. And otherwise also, even in the case of a Jivan Mukta, you want to be free, become free from the limitations, so-called limitations which are born of the ignorance. Definitely you need all this, and therefore you need a Sattva Guna. Anyway, so basically one person, if he is enlightened, still his body, mind, sense couplings, if it is alive, that's all Ishvara. So Sthula Sharira continues, Sukshma Sharira continues, even if the avidya goes, ignorance goes, it's all Ishvara. Because it is born of subtle and gross elements from that, of course, and that is from Maya. So basically, only goes is avidya. That's all. By knowledge, nothing goes. Only goes is this avidya. Ignorance goes. That's all. And so, Ishvara does not have avidya. Ishvara is all knowledge. And if it is all knowledge, the definition of all knowledge is whose knowledge is not obstructed by this kind of a thought, I don't know. That's all we have to say. Whose knowledge is not obstructed by ignorance is called all knowledge. And therefore, Ishvara is all knowledge, we say, and therefore he is free from the ignorance. And this the same consciousness with this avidya upadhi, well, this avidya goes, then he also says, I am Ishvara. Because now nothing is left. Nothing is left. Understand, this body, this mind, senses, everything is Ishvara ultimately. Only thing, one difference between really Ishvara and Jiva, and that is just from the standpoint of a upadhi. Just from the standpoint of upadhi. That apparent individuality continues. Apparent. That's how the I sense continues. But that is mithya, of course. But it continues. Because, why? But then why it should continue? The prarabdha is there. Therefore, the prarabdha is there and therefore it has begun. That's how he has got this gross body and subtle body, everything. And therefore, the subtle body identified with this gross body continues. And so, if that is there, then definitely consciousness is going to reflect in the mind. That is, as I sense will be there. And that I sense, even though it is mithya, it will continue so long the gross body continues. So that's the only difference between Ishvara and Jiva, not from essential difference. It's not an essential difference. It is just from the standpoint of one body, gross body and subtle body. That's all. And that cannot be destroyed ultimately. It's part of Ishvara Srushti. But he has got this Jiva in the state of ignorance, of course. He has got this body and therefore prarabdha has given it and therefore it continues. And so long as that is continued, the medium continues, even the reflection continues, that I sense continues. But he knows it is mithya. So this is the only difference. Rest everything, he knows he is a consciousness. And other than that, this body is extra, also is Ishvara. But only in that body, that apparent individuality continues till the prarabdha is over. That's all. Anyway, so, and then, well, if you look at this Jagat, and if you want to know what this Jagat is, Shastra says it is Brahman. Then the Brahman with this Maya Upadhi is also with this Jagat, and he is a Sarvajna, and therefore his knowledge alone has manifested, and therefore he knows entire Jagat. That's all. Like the dreamer. Dreamer knows entire dream world. Whether in the dream world, an individual like you and me is there, suppose, with a dream body, etc. He may not know the entire dream world, but the dreamer knows the entire dream world because that is his knowledge manifestation. His knowledge, which is non-separate from him, well, alone has manifested. So he is all knowledge with respect to dream world. The dreamer is all knowledge with respect to dream world. That's what I mean. And therefore, dreamer does not have ignorance at all with respect to the dream world. Same way Ishvara is all knowledge. His knowledge alone is manifested, which is nothing but this Maya alone has manifested in the form of universe, and therefore Ishvara is all knowledge, and therefore Ishvara does not have ignorance. And therefore there is no need on the part of Ishvara to remove the ignorance. And therefore that kind of a thing, even the apparent Ishvara vritti, the Badhita vritti also is not there. That I am Ishvara, etc. also is not there. Is not there. That Jiva has all this because avidya upadhi is there, and therefore avidya goes, and that apparent, since the body, etc. is born of due to ignorance, and prarabdha, of course, and then this apparent individuality, apparent ego, we call it as a badhita anuvritti, continues. Please understand this. Because, no, Swamiji, then Jiva and Ishvara, all everything same, then if avidya goes, then basically why to begin with we should say two. But this apparent, from the standpoint of upadhi, please understand, From the standpoint upadhi, from the standpoint of a name and form, from the standpoint of a bodies, two bodies, avidya is gone. But this prarabdha is continue, and that's called avidya lesha. Let's not go into that. But point is, avidya is as though that, because the karma etc. is born from the due to avidya, from the doership, and the doership is born from avidya, and therefore the karma which has given this body right now is continuous. So far that avidya has continued as though, and therefore there is an apparent difference between jiva and Ishvara. Please understand this. Other than that, he also says, I am a consciousness, I am Brahman, and body etc. also is Ishvara. For him, there is a Ishvara Srushti. But in that, this particular body, the subtle body is confined in that subtle body, that I sense also is there, and due to that, the physical body also, that apparent I sense is there, that will continue. But there is no more a reality, and therefore for him, there is apparent jivatvam, apparent individuality will be there on the part of jiva. Could you follow? And therefore such kind of a thing is not there in Ishvara at all. Why? Because there is no ignorance at all, and there is no question of removing the ignorance also. Because whatever is there is his knowledge, including my body, mind, sense complex and everything else. That is his knowledge. And therefore he knows, he is all knowledge. Entire universe he knows very well. And therefore, as the dreamer knows everything in the dream world. Same way. And therefore, all that is there is basically Ishvara. There is no ignorance for the Ishvara. So Ishvara is Sarvagnaha, and this Jiva we call it as a Alpagnaha, because due to, and Jiva has to know. Ishvara need not know anything, because Jiva has to know means Jiva has a ignorance, and therefore he has to know. Ishvara has no ignorance, and therefore there is no need to know. That's all it is. Sarvagnatam means there is no need to know. Alpagnatvam means there is one has to know, because everything is obstructed with the ignorance. Any one thing is obstructed with the ignorance. That ignorance is a upadhi for a jiva, and therefore definitely this is a difference. Therefore we have a process of shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam, everything. Ishvara has not to attend any classes. And therefore, this is how the difference is. That's a difference due to upadhi only. Please understand. Due to Maya upadhi, well, Maya alone manifest, his knowledge alone manifest, and therefore, basically, he is a Sarvagnya. And Jiva has a upadhi called avidya, and therefore he is Alpagnya. So we can put it in another way also, that Ishvara with an individual upadhi and Ishvara with the total upadhi. You can say this champion, I am putting a hand here, Ishvara with an individual upadhi and Ishvara with the total upadhi, that is Jagat. Ishvara with the individual upadhi, Jiva. Am I right? Ishvara with the individual upadhi, Jiva. Ishvara with the total upadhi, Jagat. That's all. That is how it is. Basically, what that's all, Swamiji? This is not, this is very difficult to understand. What that's all. People say that way anyway. But I'm using that's all because it is very simple. And therefore, the difference between me and Ishvara is purely notional. That's what I want to convey. It's purely notional. No difference at all. Once the avidya goes, no difference. But then you are telling that apparent difference. Yeah, apparent means what? You know very well. Apparent means what? Apparent. Apparent is apparent. The difference between the two parts, apparent. Yeah, difference between a ring and a chain, apparent. That's all. That is what I mean. Anyway, so with the individual upadhi it is called a jiva, with the total upadhi is called Ishvara or Jagat. So Jiveshvara continues, and even when ignorance is gone, but the whole understanding is different. So, well, it's understanding that the individual and the total. So individual, well, Ishvara with this upadhi is individual, Ishvara with the total upadhi, is Ishvara or a Jagat. So with the total upadhi, it includes my body, mind, sense complex also. I mean, when you talk Ishvara, it has to include you. So it has to include you. But Swamiji, how can I include Ishvara? Then I have to tell I am Ishvara. I am not able to tell. That avidya is there. That's all. Avidya is there which does not allow you to come near Ishvara, to allow Ishvara to come near to you. When he comes near, he will take up even that ahankara also. And he is ready to do that. And people are also ready to do that. People want Ishvara to come so that he should spread up to the eye sense. Up to the eye sense, not the bodies. Gross body he has to cover. Then that is what it shows, the Vamana Avatara has become Virat. And it in the 3 steps it covered everything. Jagra, Supna, Sushupta or Vishwa, Tejas, Prajna, everything it covers. In 3 steps it covered everything. And definitely the last one is that Baliraja's head. That's called Ahankara, eye sense. And that is what also is covered. That is covered. And that Baliraja's Ahankara is covered, and he made Baliraja free from all the notions. He has become one with the Ishvara. Anyway, so this is how he is ready, Ishvara is ready to come up to the eye sense. Well, and because eye sense is also due to ignorance. That ignorance does not allow. Ignorance makes a, carving out of the Ishvara Srishti. Otherwise everything is Ishvara. And therefore if ignorance goes, only Ishvara with that individual upadhi continues. That individuality is an apparent individuality. Please understand this. Why I am saying this? This will help, this will give a so much soothing. If you understand that Ishvara is so near to you. We say daily, Tvameva Mata cha Pita, Tvameva, etc. Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parmeshwaro. Vagartha Viva Samprukta, Vagartha Pratipattaye. Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parmeshwaro. Kalidasa says in Raghumsha. Vagartha Viva Samprukta, Vagartha Pratipattaye. Vagartha Iva Samprukta. Samprukta. They are connected. Like Shiva and Shakti. This is just a connected. Vagartha. Vak means the word. Artha means the meaning. On form. Name and form, just they are connected. When you see a form, name appears. When you remember a name or utter a name, a form appears. So they are all together. Vagartha viva samprukta. Vagartha pratipatte. Jagata pitaro vande. Vagartha pratipatti means for the knowledge of this name and form. Well, same way. Jagatah Pitaro Vande, Jagatah Pitaro, the parents of this entire universe. Well, Vande, Parmeshwaro, Parvati Parmeshwaro, Parvati Shakti, Parmeshwara, Shiva. So like Shiva and Shakti are, are united. And same way, and so that Parmeshwara is the parents of everyone. Original parents. Original parents. I mean, original parents means they were the parents in the beginning. No. In every life, your parents are ultimately Parmeshwara. In every life. They are the permanents for all the lives. For all your janmas. And therefore, if you understand that I am with parents, because I am a child, so far as this is concerned, this knowledge is concerned, I am child. And that's how even in Kathopanishad, Yamaraja tells for this Ajnani, he uses the word Balaha. Balaha. Anyway, because this is the avastha of a person. Anyway, so this, what I am saying is ultimately, this Parmeshwara alone, Ishvara alone with this individual, individual body, mind, sense complex, we call it as a Jiva. Ishvara with the total, Ishvara with the total upadhi is called Ishvara. We have to say that way. So, and that apparent individuality will be there after knowledge. So he's almost Ishvara, we call it that way. So he's almost Ishvara. This identification almost means that there is no difference, but apparent difference. From the standpoint of apparent difference, I am telling you. Don't think that there is a little difference will be there. Swamiji is telling almost means it is, little difference will be there in between. Not little difference. That is from the standpoint of upadhi that difference will be there. that I will still, that so-called individuality continues till this gross body is there. Afterwards, even the gross body has the resolve, and even the subtle body also resolves. And then if subtle body resolves, then there is no more reflection also, the jiva also resolves. There is no more janma, nothing. Anyway, so this identification will continue because the jiva is born of a certain prarabdha karma, and which is in the process of fructification through the physical body, and therefore it continues. And so confinement of the sukshma sharira to a given physical body continues for the prarabdha to be exhausted. Mere physical body, you cannot exhaust karma. Mere subtle body, you cannot exhaust karma. You need a subtle body which is situated in a particular physical body in order to get experience, in order to experience sukha or dukkha, pleasure and pain, which is nothing but the prarabdha. And so jiva continues while living, but he is liberated. Because he doesn't have a sense of a individuality in reality. He knows this is apparent. For him it is mithya, apparent in individuality. And therefore, he knows he is limitless. And so he is mukta. Limitless in terms of what? Limitless in terms of time, place and conditions. Time, place and object-wise. He is free. So he is called Jivan Mukta. And being alive, well, Jiva can still appreciate Ishvara and his glories. Because an enlightened person, even, we offer his prayers in appreciation of Parmeshwara. He can even sing the stuti. He can make the stutis. He can compose different stutis. That's what Shankaracharya ji did. Adi Shankaracharya ji has composed so many stotras in which he has sung the glory of Parmeshwara. It may be in the form of a Ganesha Pancharatnam, or it may be in the form of a Shiva Manas Puja. It may be anything, Shiva Parada Kshamapana Stotra, anything. So many are there, so many. Even Krishna Manas Puja, I think he has written. I think Devi Manas Puja also he has written. So several. So he can sing glory in any form. Why not? So being free, he sings the glory because he sees the creation. And he sees the creation as not as a creation, understand? He sees the creation as Ishvara. That's the difference. Ajnani sees the creation as a source of threat because he is this much. And therefore the Ishvara and this creation is vast. And therefore he looks upon the creation as a source of threat. And for Jnani, well, there is no bhayam. All that is there is Ishvara. All that is there is Ishvara. And anyway, so being alive, he sings the glory. Being an enlightened person, he is free, but then he can sing the glory of Parmeshwara. Or he can even pray to Parmeshwara. But Swamiji, why you should pray? You say he is a Ishvara, yeah. But with that apparent individuality, with that Badhita Ahankara, he continues to pray. And because now Badhita Ahankara means his free will is literally free. Literally free. No raga, dvesha, nothing. And so he can pray for the world. He can pray for the pandemic. Definitely can pray. And therefore, prayer for the country, community, prayer for the world, and all that kind of prayer all is there. Or if he doesn't pray, he may sing just the glory of the Parmeshwara. Well, seeing everything as a Parmeshwara, including his body, mind, sense complex. And wherever he looks into the creation, he finds the glory of Ishvara, because Ishvara and creation are no two different things. Ishvara and creation are two different things. It is born of ignorance. So this is how our discussion regarding Mayopadihi San Atma Ishvara. Well, San means being. Being the one endowed with this Upadi of Maya, the same Atma or Brahman is called Ishvara. Iti Uchyate, it is called. Now let's go ahead. Evam Upadi Bhedat Jiveshwara Bheda Drishtihi Yavat Pariyantam तिष्ठति तावत्पर्यन्तं जन्म मरणादि रूप संसारः न निवर्तते. Evam, well, in this manner, Upadhi Vedat, due to the differences in Upadhi, Jiva Ishvara Bheda Drashti, Jiva Ishvara Bheda Drashti, the conclusion of difference between the individual and the Ishvara. Yavat Paryantam, Yavat means as long as. So, Yavat Paryantam means as long it is there. Tishtati means it as long it is there. The Yavat Paryantam Tishtati means as long as it remains, thus such differences will remain. Tavat Paryantam, until that time. Janma Maranadi Rupa Samsara, the samsara which is comprising of in the form of a birth, death, etc. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha, all this. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. Whenever Janma comes, we have to immediately put all other things, without any, because they are all connected. Some of them are friends from the birth. Janma and Vyadi, they are friends from the birth. They can come together. They come into the creation together. When the child is born with the disease. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Mrityu comes at a later time, but that is all the time around. Janma and Mrityu cannot remain as a friend as such, but it is around. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Jara also takes some time, yeah. But then definitely, so all these things are connected as such. So, na nivartate, well, if so, Veda Drashti is there, the difference, the difference in the mind of individual continues, yeah, due to avidya. Ishvara does not find such difference at all. He says everything is me. Like the dreamer says, even that person, in the dream, like me, says that this, I am an individual, I am Swami Muktatmananda, and this is the whole creation which is different from me. That time also that dreamer is laughing. The dreamer is laughing because both ultimately is essentially dreamer alone. Anyway, so basically what I am saying is the difference is in the head of that Swami Muktatmananda. Otherwise, from the dreamer's standpoint, there is no difference. Dreamer's standpoint, there is all is one alone. As I told you, one whole, organic whole. By organic, Swamiji, by organic, it's a conscious whole. It's a conscious whole. Dreamer pervades everything. Dreamer does not sit in the corner and creates everything and everything comes out of it and dreamer remains separate. Is abhinna nimitto upadana karan. So wherever the dream ocean is there, he has pervaded the dream ocean. Yeah, the very existence of the dream ocean, the very shining of the dream ocean. Shining is not the thing other way. It's the illumination of the dream ocean. Is the dreamer. Is the dreamer. So dreamer pervades the dream ocean. I mean that name and form. Any name and form in the dream, it is pervaded by the dreamer. In fact, dreamer alone is that all names and forms. But Swamiji, that is his knowledge. Yeah, his knowledge is non-separate from him. And therefore, ultimately, dreamer with his knowledge is the entire dream world. And so he pervades in every nook and corner of the dream world. Anyway, so for dreamer, there is nothing other than himself. No difference. He has Advaita Drashti. And but then the person in the dream may have that ignorance. And he says, well, I am an individual and this dream ocean, etc. Well, he says, this all is different from me. So anyway, so here it says in this manner, as long as the perception or the conclusion of the difference between the individual and the Lord, well, if it continues, due to the upadhi, of course, then due to which upadhi? This avidya upadhi. And there this is maya upadhi. So that is from the standpoint of this person. Well, it continues, then till then this samsara also continues. Therefore, Ishvara does not have that ignorance at all. Ishvara does not have avidya upadhi, and therefore there is no samsara for him. For this person, there is a samsara. And what is that samsara? Birth, death and everything. Jara and vyadhi and everything will be there. It does not come to an end. So means Swamiji, person does not have ignorance, he will not have a jara. Person does not have ignorance means he will not have a death. person does not have ignorance, means he will not have any kind of a disease? We have not found a single one. Adi Shankaracharya ji also must have, even, he has dropped his body because of some disease. Something must be there. And afterwards, in all generations, till today, we find whoever the jnanis are there, they have dropped the body due to some illness. And therefore, then Swamiji, this samsara continues. You say this janma mrityu jara vyadhi is samsara, and that will not be there if the ignorance goes. But we find that this is in the body of now so-called jnani, because that is there, and therefore avidya must have been there. But for the person it is not there. Could you follow? For the person it is not there, in the body it is there. Right now I am saying that I am old. Yeah, I am old and I am having disease. Well, you won't say. But what does it make a difference? If you tell, I will also use this now, even without removing the ignorance. What will you use? I will say, this has a disease, this has a disease, this has a jara. But this way, even if you use this, your eye sense is right there in that. Therefore, and since the eye sense is there, the samsara is here. Understand? Samsara is not anywhere. Samsara is right there in this 6 inches. Right there. People think samsara, Swamiji, I have come with my samsara. They will come with the family and then a wife and 2 children or 3 children, and they come and tell the wife, please do prostration, please, then children also. And then says, Swamiji, I have come today with my samsara. That is not samsara. Samsara is here in the 6 inches. This has a disease is one thing. It has a different impact in the body. I am having a disease or I am having an old age is a different thing altogether. It's a different thing. Sorrow is born of I am having a disease, not the body has a disease. And the sorrow is uncaused. Really speaking, sorrow should not be there. That's how Prahasanniva Bharata. So Prahasanniva Bharata, Bhagavan says I don't find any cause at all. Oh dear friend Arjuna, I don't find any cause to be grieved. Why are you grieving? Look at my face. Oh, you are Ishvara, you can laugh. No, Ishvara does not have ignorance, therefore no samsara. Samsara is, lurging on our face, even with everything. Whatever you wanted, you have, and yet sorrow continues. That is uniqueness of the human being. That's a uniqueness. Yesterday I saw a bear which was very happy. Whatever it was, he was eating something. Few things he was eating. Well, he was not getting all samosa and everything, but he was happy. This fellow with all the things around, family is there, people are happy, and he is getting everything, and he has a car, he has a bungalow, and he has that and that, and he continues. There is a uniqueness in all the living beings. This sorrow is definitely a uniqueness of a human being. Without reason, he keeps on grieving. He keeps on grieving. Even after study for several years of Bhagavad Gita, he keeps on grieving. That's due to ignorance. That's due to ignorance. You are self-conscious and self-ignorant. It's enough. That's enough to create a confusion. If you are not fully self-conscious, even though you have a self-ignorance, no problem. Yeah. If you are self-conscious with the self-ignorance, well, problem. Mere self-ignorance, no problem. Deep sleep state, no problem. But waking state, self-ignorance and self-conscious, huge problems. Huge problems. That's the reason. So ignorance is causing this samsara. Not that janma mrityu jara vyadhi etc. Therefore, if the body has undergone, is going also with certain facts, if people keep, well, agama apayinaha anityaha tam titikshasva bharata etc. And what Bhagavan said is dehinosmin yatha dehe etc. Well, we have seen that. So that will be there, and there is no problem. Even with the certain facts, even if ignorance has not gone. And if ignorance has gone, even though old age is there, even though the death is approaching, etc., well, still he will not grieve for. He will not grieve for. So this apparent this division, which is born of ignorance, and that division in the head of the jiva, that I am different, Ishvara is different, well, that creates a samsara. And definitely other things are there. Pujya Swamiji's definition of samsara is a life of becoming, and that will be there. It's a trip, really speaking. It's a huge trip. Person wants to become and become and become and become and become and become and become. He has only one mantra in his life: to become. What I am right now? No, I am not satisfied. I am not satisfied. I want to change. I want to change my setup. I want to change my body. I want to change my mind. I want to change this. I want to change that. Keeps on doing. You won't find a satisfaction, a iota of a satisfaction in a person, even though he has everything, because he is in the rut of this becoming. Because all the time his own notions about himself bothers him. What is that notion? I am limited. That's all. I am limited. And he always, being self-conscious, he finds what are the areas where he can cover the limitations. He can come out of the limitations. And that is the first prayer one has to do in one's life, is that may the Ishvara, you make me free from this orientation of becoming. It doesn't go even in the Vedantic student. Let me tell you very frankly. And so long as this process of becoming is there in our mind, if that orientation is there, till then the Vedanta will not be appreciated. Vedanta says what is there is right now limitless. What you are is limitless. Not that you become limitless. One can never become limitless. That's impossible thing to do. You are limitless. So ignoring that fact, I am in orientation of becoming, and therefore one is not able to appreciate teaching. And after several years of teaching, if one is not able to appreciate, he blames teaching and the teacher, that this is not practical and etc. They don't know that they have that orientation. They still, in terms of Sanskrit language, I want to know this. In terms of Bhashya study, I have not studied. I want to study that. I want to study that. I want to study that. I do want to do that. I want to do that. Forget it. Forget it. That's how every time we have a single prayer in every class. After 1 hour of study, if a person has got some kind of a orientation of becoming, we say immediately, Purna Madah Purna Vidam. Whatever is there is Purnam. You are Purnam, everything is Purnam. Please, please, please. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And if everything is Purnam, that is a fact that the Veda talks about, then in fact your becoming is futile. It's futile. Nothing can be improved upon from limitless. That's a mathematical equation. If everything is limitless, nothing can be improved upon. So it is just your orientation. It's your notion that I want to improve upon. You cannot improve upon limitless. You can never improve upon. And that is why we fail. That is how the frustration arises. Even after becoming a life of becoming for 30 years, 40 years, person is still having a becoming. After 40 years, now you should have that satisfaction that I have become everything now. It won't arise. In fact, more craving arises of becoming. So better understand the equation. Purnamadah Purnamidam. Idam Purnaha. Idam means I am. I am Atma Purnaha. Adah Purnam. Whatever is there is also Purnam. That is Purnam. The Ishvara is Purnam. And Atma also is Purnam. Well, ultimately it is one thing. What I am saying is that one has to, if that difference, if that division is there due to ignorance in the head of this jiva, then Ishvara is different from me. In fact, he has adopted a process of becoming in order to become Ishvara. Honestly speaking, he wants to become Ishvara. He wants to have all knowledge. He wants to have all power. He is not satisfied with the power what he has. He is not satisfied with the knowledge he has. And he wants to become Ishvara in terms of the Purnatvam also. Ishvara is all the time happy Ananda Swarupa. He wants to become that. So by process of becoming, one wants to become Ishvara. Well, that division between Jiva and Ishvara is created by ignorance. Drop the ignorance. You and Ishvara are one. You and Ishvara are one. So ignorance creates a distance. Ignorance can create even a physical distance also. Ignorance can create a physical distance. Even though it is with you, it can create a physical distance. Like anything which is lost. Like my specs are lost, suppose. It is right there, but I feel that it is lost. Then I will search everywhere. I may even feel that I might have dropped somewhere. I might have dropped somewhere. So ignorance can create a distance between you and spectacles in terms of a physical distance. Even though it is right there. So understand, between you and Ishvara, no difference. Your eye sense is Ishvara. Your mind is Ishvara. Every thought is Ishvara. A seer is a Ishvara. A hearer is a Ishvara. The very process of seeing and hearing is Ishvara. And what you see outside, the creation, universe also is Ishvara. That's the knowledge. And with that apparent individuality, well, just apparent, due to the prarabdha, still the person enjoys the freedom and this oneness. And the freedom, he enjoys the freedom born of the oneness between he and Ishvara. Ishvara is free, he says, I am also free. And that's a reality. This is how it is. And so samsara continues even if so long as this Veda Buddhi continues. That Veda Buddhi is born of ignorance. That's the upadhi of a Jiva, and therefore this is in the head of Jiva, not in the head of Ishvara. Tasmat karanat na jiveshwarayoho Veda Buddhi svikarya. Tasmat karanat. Due to this reason we are telling you, Jiva Ishvara Veda Buddhi na svikarya. For this reason, the conclusion of the difference between the individual and the Lord should not be accepted by you. Even though you find a difference, you should immediately tell this is just a notion born of ignorance. And therefore, if you drop the ignorance, there is no difference between me and the Lord. This is how we have to see that. Anyway, more we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I am going to give you a meditation today. So if you want to write it down, you can write it down. Or if you want to do the meditation, you can do the meditation, whatever. The contemplation, any contemplation is possible only in a mind free from prejudice, free from projection. It should be just an abiding mind. Free from reaction. Abiding. It is in this mind Nididhyasanam can take place. Otherwise, it is just another type of fooling oneself. The abiding mind. What do you mean by an abiding mind? You leave yourself completely. Abandon yourself. All your efforts. Now, for the time being, all mental efforts drop. Wait for, just wait for any sound that you may hear. Wait in silence. Don't look for it. Don't be anxious about what you are going to hear. Just wait for any sound that you may hear in that silence. In silence, make the mind silent. Means in silence, waiting in silence. Hear the words as they come. Words or sounds. And don't react because new sounds are coming. Again, you are in silence. If this mind you appreciate, you will understand what is abiding mind. Don't think. If the thought comes again, bring to silence. As I keep listening, the mind is silent. I don't want the sounds to be different. Nor am I disturbed by the sound. I am sufficient with myself and these sounds I perceive make no real difference to me. I keep listening for I can't but listen. Ears open and the mind behind them. I can't but listen. I am silent, free from reaction. I dislike none of the sounds, nor do I have a liking for a particular sound. I am fine with myself. All that I hear is fine. Perceptions of sound give a background to my silence. They don't disturb the silence. In fact, they enrich the silence. Give a music to the silence. They don't disturb the silence. 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 I. Silence. Oh.